Hi, and welcome to the Online Marketing Revolution presentation. My name is Marguerite Insco, and I'm going to share with you how inbound marketing works for business-to-business companies. By the end of this presentation, you're going to be able to describe the 4 basic elements of inbound marketing, who can benefit the most from using this type of marketing, share some industry statistics regarding the performance of inbound marketing, and then I will also list for you some steps on getting started. Now, if you want to look at inbound marketing from, say, 10,000 feet high up in the sky, you can really break it down into 4 components. It's attracting the type of people that you want to do business with, nurturing your relationship with them, converting them into a client, and then delighting them or continuing to delight them in a relationship with them so that you can extend the relationship or they can come back to you. Now, this is something that's a very common process in sales, regardless of the medium used. It's just inbound marketing is on today on the internet makes it possible without having to go out and shake hands and exchange business cards and take people out for coffee, which is great. And you need to do that, but there's certainly a limitation with how large a company can grow if that's the only way that we're able to get sales. And going nationally, inbound marketing makes a lot of sense. Now, if we look at it really from only 10 feet away, then you can see here it is a lot more technically, basically 3 different things. You have a lot of tools that you use, then there's strategies for implementing those tools, and then there's measures that make sure that we have set goals and that we're moving our way towards accomplishing them. Now, there are a few things like smarketing, which you can see down at the bottom, A/B testing, and lead intelligence. These are systems and processes that are very time intensive, but they also are going to be the ones that take larger companies to the next level in their inbound marketing. But those are really reserved for very large companies. The rest of these make a lot more sense for small to mid-sized businesses. So we're going to go over each of those a little bit more, but I'd like to talk about who this is for. Who is inbound marketing really for in terms of companies? Well, you have to want to generate leads through the internet as a primary way to get leads, because you have to focus a lot of time and money, your marketing money, on inbound marketing. So of course you expect to get a lot of results from that too for the long term. And as I mentioned beforehand, it's for companies that are focused on breaking out of the regional sales into a more national approach, or they may already be selling nationally, you just want to increase their number of leads. Get measurable results. So inbound marketing is very measurable compared to a lot of other traditional marketing where you've got average numbers. In inbound marketing, you know exactly where you want to go and exactly where you are and exactly the kind of results you're going to get. It's also a great way to demonstrate thought leadership, which is a wonderful thing for training companies, consulting companies. It's demonstrating that you know something special compared to your competitors or other people out there offering alternative solutions. And lastly, it's for companies that are very serious in investing for a profitable future. Now, who is it not for? It's not really for companies who just want to keep putting all their money in what they do traditionally. And of course, if you keep doing the same thing that you've always done, you keep getting the same results. So that means if there's companies that really just want to stay basically the same size and growth is not a goal, then inbound marketing really isn't a good fit. Okay, let's talk about why inbound marketing makes sense as a strategy. It's because successful marketing is always has a long-term focus. Now this graph here is something that was reported by Chet Holmes in a book he wrote called The Ultimate Sales Machine. And he breaks it down in terms of your target market and how ready people are to make a purchase. And you can see at the very top, the smallest little sliver, just 3%, represents the people who are ready to buy now. Like if you approached them, said you had this available, and they would say, yes, let's go ahead and get it. But that's very small, and we can't keep chasing down 3% all the time because then we're just chasing our tails. There's 31% of people who are not thinking about it. There's another 6% or so that are open to it. And then there's another 30% of people who think that they are interested, but they're not sure, okay? Now, then there's another 30% where they know they're not interested. So we're not going to worry about the people who know they're not interested, but the people who just aren't aware of it, or they're not sure, or they're open to it, that's where successful marketing moves them through the process of getting to the sales point. So that's what we're working on here. Let's talk about those 4 areas that I mentioned to you earlier, starting with the attraction stage. And I call it component 1 because it's the start, but it's also ongoing throughout your marketing system. So component 1, attracting the people who are your target market. How do you do that? Well, you have to focus online in 2 different areas: search engine optimization and social media. But before you jump into really blowing it out of the water there, you have to know exactly who it is that you're targeting. Now, there's a target market that you've already defined for your business, but you want to take it a step further and create something called a buyer persona. And you can have multiple personas because you have multiple types of people within your target market that you're trying to reach. But what that allows you to do when you create what is a fictitious person that represents realistically who you do business with, it lets you kind of get inside their heads. What are their challenges? What are their questions? What is the way that they think about the world? And who are the people that they are dealing with in their working world? And so it allows you to understand how are they looking for help, so you can position yourself best to be found. So let's talk a little bit more about search engine optimization, SEO. There's 2 different approaches. One of them is called, well, not approaches, excuse me, there's 2 different layers. It's on-page optimization and off-page optimization. To get all of that prepared, though, or set up correctly, you have to understand long-term tailed keywords. Now, very simply, this is a phrase that someone enters into a search engine like Google to find an answer. So it's usually 3 to 5 words, simple, straightforward. When you are researching your long-tailed keywords, you want to find ones with the right kind of competition and the right number of monthly searches that are being conducted. And you can use Google AdWords key tool, and I use HubSpot's keyword tool to help me do my research to find out what are people using to search things on the internet that is my target market. Now, when you optimize a web page, which is on-page optimization, it's ideal for every one of your web pages, particularly focusing on blog pages, to have one keyword that has low competition, so it's very easy to rank high for it, but it also has some decent traffic, meaning that people are actually looking for it regularly on a monthly basis. But this is your ticket to getting traffic to your website that's quality traffic, because you're using the terms that they are using, and you're picking ones that you know are relevant to your target market. So let's talk a little bit more about how you actually conduct on-page optimization. You can see here there's a lot of different components around on-page SEO. The keywords we just mentioned, using that keyword, if you keep going around this circle to the right, placing it in your title tags, that means the page title. And keyword density, this is something that a lot of people play around with. Sometimes they try to do something called keyword stuffing, which is horribly bad because it's not a very good read and it doesn't really make that much of a difference. You just need to be using your long tail keyword 1 or 2 times within the text of your web page there. An H1 tag, that is going to be the header title within the page, and that also should contain your keyword. A description. Now this means a description of the page. If someone does an internet search with that keyword and your article pops up, okay, and that keyword is in the title, and right below where the description is, it needs to be 2 to 3 sentences describing what the article is about. And a really good description will prompt the likelihood of it being clicked on. And this is often forgotten or left out. And no description means people don't know what's there and they may not choose to look at that page. And keyword placement is something that a lot of people have argued back and forth about where it makes sense to put your long tail keyword in the text. Is it at the beginning or is it at the end, and how many times in the middle? Really, when it comes down to it, is Google and other search engines are constantly improving the way that their search engine works. And if you try to keep up with every little change, it can get very laborious. Focus on making it reader friendly first, and the SEO part will come along. As long as you make sure that you've got one good long-tailed keyword per page and you're placing it in the title and you're placing it in the header of it and you're using it a couple of times in the text. Okay, so that's how you optimize your web pages. Now let's talk about off-page optimization. This takes a long time to build. What it means is you're gaining reputation as a website and organically. And it's really good to work with a professional SEO company because they can do a lot of this legwork that can be very time intensive. What you want to focus on is just getting lots of pages on your website. And the best way to do that is regular blogging, because every blog post is an additional page. And if you're adding 1 to 2 pages a week, you can see how that adds up very quickly over time with the traffic with each keyword that you're using. So a little bit more of an explanation about off-page SEO. Basically, the biggest component to off-page is getting links from other people's websites to yours. Now, you can link your website to other people, but it's backlinks, meaning they're linking to yours because they find that what you offer on your website is of value. And there's authority website links, and then there's your more regular, everyday type of backlinks. And authority type of links focus on, well, they're typically the type of websites that are .govs, .edus, really well-known news companies and so forth, because they're just very trusted websites. And when they link to another website, that means that they really trust that other website, maybe yours, to be of very relevant and reliable too with information. So that's what a lot of really good SEO companies work on, is just creating quality links and not cheap or useless ones that are out there. You'll see that a whole lot with SEO companies that are not, or individuals who speak like they know SEO, but really they're just generating a lot of fluff. Now, social bookmarking is another thing that SEO companies can do, working with websites like StumbleUpon or Reddit as other ways to get your information about your website out there where people are looking for information. And of course, your keyword performance makes a big difference in your traffic, and also your integration with your website with Google. If you have a Google Plus page and Google Places, that really can help elevate your relevance within the Google search engines. And another thing to keep in mind too is own your domain name for at least 5 years, because that indicates to Google that you're here for the long term and not some fly-by-night type of business. Okay, so another aspect about traffic. The percent of websites found through social media grows every year. And really, social media is now in direct competition with search engines by the number of links that are there that people are clicking on to go find websites. So really, you just need to focus on picking the best type of social media for your business. Is it LinkedIn? Is it Twitter? Is it Facebook? It depends on your business, but for most B2B companies, it's always going to be LinkedIn. And just build your connections. The more links that your company page has and each of your employees have, the better. And then actively engage people through LinkedIn and the tools that are available. Now, other management tools like Hootsuite, TweetAdder, and HubSpot are a great way to make sure that you're making real progress instead of just playing around. But the more that you're exposed through the social media, it increases click-throughs that come to your website. To see if what you're doing works, assess your performance. You can use Google Analytics. It's a very easy thing to code to embed in your website, and then you can see your performance on a daily basis with number of visits over a month period or a week or hourly, just depending on your website. You can see if how many new visitors to returning visitors that you have. And another thing I really like about Google Analytics is you can see where are all these people coming from? So you can see on this example how many of them were organic search results through Google, how many came from Facebook, how many came from LinkedIn and some other websites. And this helps you know where you can be more effective as you continue to tweak how your traffic gets to your website. Okay, so now we've gone through the attraction stage. Let's talk about component 2, which is nurturing that relationship. You have to think about the stages people go through when they're making a buying decision. And it's kind of like a funnel process where there's a lot of people that start off at the top and just a few end up at the bottom. But everybody starts with looking for information to solve their challenge, their questions, their problems. And after they get enough information, they start forming some criteria on how they can make a decision. So they've started to really clarify what their problem is and what is going to be the really good outcome that they want to achieve. And once they've created that criteria, they can then evaluate between their buying options. And if we can work people through these 3 stages with our own information on our website, it's going to be very powerful in terms of influencing them at that evaluation stage. And this could take 30 days, this could take 60, 90 days, it could take longer than that, just depending on the typical buying cycle of clients in your business. So how does that funnel work in action? Well, there's blogging, there's content offers, and then there's drip email marketing. All of that together in the right formula is how you nurture the relationship. So I've mentioned blogging before. Let's look at that a little bit more. You're really focusing on the top level of the funnel, which is people looking for information, and it's a really great tool for attracting people. You can see here statistically, I've got some numbers. By the way, this comes from HubSpot and their 2013 report regarding results on inbound marketing with 7,000 different businesses who use it. So this is really reliable information. First of all, companies that companies with 50 to 100 pages in their website generate 48% more traffic than companies with less than 50 pages. And the impact of monthly blog articles on inbound leads, it's kind of small to see here, but when you have 6 to 8 blog posts a month, you're about halfway up. When you go from 9 to 15, it's starting to climb a little bit, but when you have over 15 blog articles published every month on a website, you can see that's where things really start to skyrocket. So blogging is critical for getting traffic. And if you look here, you can see it's broken down by company size. And the orange, which is only 1 to 10 employees, so this is a relatively small company, seems to benefit the most. And where you get the most results is having over 200 blog posts actively working for that company with keywords and using social media to share. And even 100 to 200, you still get very good traffic index. Okay, content offers. This is focused more on the top and the middle level of the funnel. So people are still looking for information, but we're also starting to give them some ways to form their criteria to make a buying decision. And this is an example here of some downloadable ebook offers that you can get on my website. But this is what you would create for your own target market that you're focusing on. It has to be relevant information, it has to be useful, and it has to be very focused on what your buyer personas are interested in, because then that's when they're going to be willing to supply you with their contact information in return for getting this information that's going to make them more successful at what they do. Now, at the bottom of the funnel is where they really need to make a decision. That's when they're evaluating which way they want to go. So it's rock, scissors, paper, which of the 3 I got to choose, right? And you can help them choose by doing things like providing a trial period, demonstration, free consultation, or performing a needs analysis or an assessment, or providing samples. It just depends on what your business does. But these are examples of how you can help leads make an evaluation of what you have to offer as a business. Now, what ties it together is drip email marketing. And this really goes through all different levels of the funnel. You're creating customized messages, and you're doing that by segmenting your email lists. Often segmented by the buyer persona, but it could also be segmented by a few other different criteria. Just depends on how you want to set it up. But the idea is that it needs to be very unique and personalized, because too much generalized email is out there and it won't be able to stand out and compete in that area. You can simplify, though, all of these emails with automation, and you want to think about the buying cycle and the length of that, and then see if you can drip those emails out to help nurture the relationship along through those stages. Now, this is just an example of a very simple email here that's very straightforward, friendly, but doesn't take you very long to read. And it's just, thank you for downloading it. Here's where you can get your copy. Keep in mind, this is just part of a series, and there's more that you are welcome to use. You're welcome to engage me by Twitter, and you can learn more about my business here. That's basically all that this email says. Okay, so we've looked at how to nurture relationships. Now let's look at the third component, which is actually converting people through the stages. So we've talked about how to create the content and the information for the stages, but now we have to move people through the stages. And that's called a conversion path. And a conversion path focuses mostly on your buyer persona, and the top of the funnel things are going to be the most interest to you, your blog articles and your offers that they can download. And you're sending them emails periodically, letting them know about what else is available that's leading them more towards the middle of the funnel. And maybe at that point you can also start engaging with them through social media, or they've chosen to do that with you by following your Twitter account, or connecting with you on LinkedIn. And you're continuing then also to send periodic emails that are short, simple, customized, and of interest to them, that would eventually lead them to the bottom of the funnel. And it might be that consulting, free consultation or trial period, so that they can work with you. And all of this is, again, moving through the length of a typical buying cycle. Now, how do you get these conversion paths to actually work? You have to have very clear calls to action. So you don't want people to figure out on their own what they're supposed to do. You tell them what the best choice is and make it very clear. So for example, here on this blog article, top of the funnel, the first thing we want them to do in terms of really engaging with us directly would be to make this, download this free content, or this offer here on this ebook. And the blog article supports the ebook, and the ebook covers a lot more of what just a little bit of the article is. So it's for people who like the article and want to get more. That's the top of the funnel, bringing them through the process. Now, when they click on that button to download the ebook, it takes them to a landing page. And a landing page is a way to remove all distractions from a web page and get them to focus on the primary thing you want them to do, which is actually providing their contact information and downloading that information. So it strengthens your ability to convert them than if this was just something they could get on a web page with lots of other information. And you can see here the title is very clear at the top about what they're getting. They can share it with social media if they think it's of interest for others. Inside is a short description talking about what's inside the offer, and it's very simple. Only their name and their email needs to be provided to get this information. Now, once they do that, then you can see it takes them directly to another page that says, here you go, thank you for downloading. And there's a big button that says, click here. It's very clear. Every step, they don't have to look around and search to figure out what to do next. And it's instant results, not waiting around for getting an email to double opt in and so forth, which they still may need to do that, but they're getting their offer that we promised them immediately. And there's another suggestion here about checking out the blog, or it could be another activity or download that you would like for them to consider. So you can see it's moving them through the stages. Now, how many landing pages do you need? Well, here's some more data. The impact of the number of landing pages on lead generation by company size. You can see here that it really starts to skyrocket for companies that are small, just 1 to 10 employees, when you have over 40 different landing pages. Now, I know that sounds like a lot, and you're not going to pull out 40 landing pages in the next 2 months, but in a couple of years, you'll see you have a lot of landing pages working for you, a lot of content offers for people to download, and a lot of opportunity to collect very important data about those individuals. So speaking of sign-up forms, there's a lot of contact management systems out there with forms that you can embed on your website, and popular ones are Constant Contact or Aweber or MailChimp. If you want to use some very advanced lead intelligence systems, then you can use companies like HubSpot, LeadFusion, and Infusionsoft. They all have different types of ways of interacting with leads. And of course, I think HubSpot is the one that's the most comprehensive and effective in how they work. They use smart forms, which is a way to get more information just an email and a name, but it's not evasive at all. It's very, it remembers contact information from before, so people don't have to keep repeating the information and typing it in. And lead intelligence lets you take action with really perfect timing and background information when you find the right lead coming to your website. So your other more standard systems like Aweber and MailChimp, they don't give you that kind of detail. You can kind of think about the advanced lead intelligence systems letting you drive a Ferrari instead of a nice sedan, when it comes to marketing, inbound marketing. Let me give you an example here of how this whole process works when it comes to numbers. Let's say your company sets a SMART goal of $75,000 of additional revenue to be gained in the next 8 months. And this is going to require an increase of 4 sales per month that average around $2,500. And the sales department has historically shown that they have a 40% lead to customer rate, meaning that they need 9 additional qualified leads a month. Because of those 9 qualified leads that come to them, they can convert 40% of them into an actual sale. So the website then needs to get 300 more targeted visitors a month, meaning quality people visiting the website, and they need to have a visitor to lead conversion rate of 3%. So going backwards, 3% of 300 people are 9 qualified leads. 40% of those 9 leads turn into sales, which is an additional 4 sales, averaging $2,500. And if we do that for the next 8 months in a row, we reach our SMART goal. So this is how you can put numbers on where you want to go, and then you can very easily determine every month, are we getting closer to our performance goals or not, and what can we do to improve it? Is it the conversion rate? Is it the number of visitors to the website? And that's where inbound marketing really is successful. Because improvements never stop. You're continually analyzing each of the 3 stages and tweaking them. And what's great is that there's a lot of momentum that's built over time in terms of growing your internet footprint. In 1 month, it's kind of small, but a year later, it's a lot bigger because there's a lot more articles, there's a lot more connections in social media. In 2 years and in 5 years, then you're really hitting stride. Real results are seen in a year, and then ongoing results that are hitting top goals are usually achieved within about 2 years. So what's the last component? Well, delighting current and past clients. You see, you can't forget to delight people once they've become a client, because if we can give them support virtually after the event, after we've engaged them, and this is important for training companies or for consultants that come in and do a change within the organization, you don't want to just never talk to them again. You want to maintain a relationship with them and continue with your influence. And it's possible with all of the promotion throughout the blog and content offers to stay in touch with the drip email marketing and continue enabling the client's success. So if this sounds like some interesting strategy for you and you would like to learn more about how to take this to the next level in your business, some tips for getting started, get my ebook called The Essentials to Internet Marketing. You can download that on the homepage of this website. You can start with also defining your most important persona, the one that you want to reach to the most in terms of making that connection so you can make a sale. So it's probably going to be in a higher level of the organization. Research your keywords. Use the Google AdWords keyword tool. Start blogging, one long-tailed keyword per blog post. Create one top, middle, and bottom offer that people can use or view on your website, and create calls to action and a conversion path that's going to lead them through. You make sure you have integrated a contact management system so you can automatically email them once they've started subscribing, and shape and grow your social media to grow your influence. Thank you so much for joining me in this presentation. I hope you found this helpful. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to contact me at Relaunch You. You can find that information on our contact page. Have a terrific day.